skip one coffee a day. That's the whole strategy. That number is what $5 a day becomes, if you start at the right time. And that one is what happens if you wait just 10 years. Same daily amount, same investment, same market returns. 10 years later, $1 million poorer. Let me introduce you to two people. Both of them decide, at different points in their lives, to invest $5 every single day. Not $500 a month, not some complicated portfolio strategy. $5, the cost of a coffee, or a fast food meal, or a phone charge cable. They both invest in a simple index fund, returning an average of 8% per year, which is historically conservative for the S&P 500 over long periods. They both plan to retire at 65. Person A starts at 25. They have 40 years in the market. Person B starts at 35. They have 30 years. 10 years apart, that's it. Here's what most people think: I'll just invest a little more later to catch up. They can't. And today, we're going to prove exactly why. Let's start with Person A. They're 25. They open a brokerage account. They set up an automatic transfer of $5 a day. That's $150 a month, $1,825 a year. After 10 years, at age 35, they've invested around $18,250 of their own money. And their portfolio? Thanks to compound interest, it's already worth $27,000. Not life-changing yet, but here's where it gets interesting. Person B is now 35. They've just had the same realization. They start the same $5 a day. For a moment, they look similar, both putting in the same amount daily, both in the same market. But watch what happens over the next decade. This is compound interest doing what compound interest does. It doesn't add, it multiplies. Every year, it's working on a bigger base. By age 45, Person A has around $135,000. Person B, about $54,000. That $81,000 gap. Person B never had a chance to earn it. It wasn't taken from them. It simply never existed for them. Now here's the part of the video I want you to pay close attention to. By age 55, Person A has around $430,000. Person B has around $200,000. The gap has grown to $230,000, even though both people have been investing the exact same amount every single day for 20 years. The money Person A has, that Person B doesn't, was never invested by Person A either. It was created by time. And now, retirement. Person A started at 25. Total invested, $72,800. Final portfolio value, $1,076,000. Over $1 million. From $5 a day. Person B started at 35. Total invested, $54,600. Final portfolio value, $481,000, almost $500,000. Still life-changing money. But here's what I need you to sit with. The gap, $595,000. Person B invested only $18,200 less than Person A over their lifetime. $18,000 less invested resulted in $595,000 less at retirement. That is the price of waiting 10 years. Not the price of investing less, not the price of picking bad stocks. Just waiting. But let me show you something that makes this even harder to swallow. What if Person A had invested $5 a day from age 25 to 35, and then never invested another single dollar for the rest of their life? No new money, zero, just letting that 10-year head start compound for another 30 years. Total invested, $18,250. Final value at 65. $596,000 from money they stopped adding 30 years ago. Person B invested $5 per day for 30 years. $481,000. Person A invested $5 per day for only 10 years, then stopped. $596,000. Person B invested for 30 years straight. Consistent, disciplined, never missed a day. Person A invested for 10 years and then quit. And person A still came out ahead. That is not a trick. That is not a cherry-picked scenario. That is compound interest. Time in the market is not just important. It is the single most powerful variable in the entire equation. So what do you do with this information? If you're 25 or younger, the message is simple. Start now. It doesn't matter how small. $5 a day is not about the $5. It's about the habit. It's about getting in the market now before life gets in the way. If you're 35 or older, here's what I need you to hear. The best time to start was 10 years ago. The second best time is today. You cannot get those years back. That's real, and it's worth sitting with. But starting at 35 with $5 a day still builds $481,000 by retirement. That is not nothing. Starting at 40 still builds over $300,000. Starting at 45 still builds over $190,000. Every year you wait, that bar gets shorter, but it never goes to zero while you're still breathing. The people who retire wealthy are almost never the ones who earned the most. They're the ones who started first. $5 a day. That's all it takes to be one of them. If this video changed how you think about time and money, subscribe. Because next week we're covering the exact index funds where that 8% return actually comes from,